Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
The show is brought to you by our generous patrons at patreon.com/Fallout Lorecast.
Robots Radio presents the Fallout Lorecast.
Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, a place for the Fallout community to come together to explore the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. Wastelanders, Vault Dwellers, welcome back to the Fallout Lorecast. Sorry for being a little bit late this week, but we decided due to certain living situations that we were going to shift the live recording time of the show from Monday nights to now Thursdays during the day. So I apologize for those of you who have been looking for an episode and haven't gotten a new one yet. Don't worry, this is the new episode for this week. It's just coming out a little bit later. And I also apologize for those of you who were trying to view the show on Monday night and couldn't find it. I'm sorry that we won't be doing that on Monday nights anymore. We're going to be doing this for at least the time being on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. So those of you who don't normally get a chance to tune in, you might be able to get a chance to tune in. So there you go. But, you know, of course, if you miss the live show, there's always other ways to watch. So anyway, just so everybody knows, it is now Thursdays at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And welcome back, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host, Tom or Robots. And this is Lainey, my co-host. Lainey, how's it going? Neos Pandora.
It's going good. It's going good. It's weird doing this on a Thursday. My week feels all mixed up.
Yeah, it is a little bit different. But yep. And we have another question in chat. Is Elder Scrolls Lorecast staying Thursday? Yes. So Thursdays will now actually be 3 different shows. 2 p.m. is the Fallout Lorecast. 9 p.m. is the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. And then 10:30, right after the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, is the Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast. So there'll be 3 shows on Thursday. So you can kind of hang out with us during, a very large section of the day. So it'll be nice. It'll be kind of nice to kind of group it all together and get it all done. But good to hear that you're doing well. We are both. I hope everybody out there dealing with all of the weather stuff going on is doing OK. I know that there's a lot of problems across the country, especially in Texas, but other places as well. I was talking to Lotus of Doom, who does the Elder Scrolls Lorecast with me, and he hasn't had running water for 4 days, and he's up in like the Boston area. And man, this storm is kicking everyone's butts. We're doing fine. We live down in Florida, and Florida is like this weird anomaly with the rest of the country in that it's been like 80 degrees out. So we're fine. But, I hope everyone else is OK. And in the spirit of that, Chad Fallout 76 podcast, the creator of the podcast, Ken, who is one of our co-hosts on the Fallout Hub show that we do together, is he's resurrecting Fallout for Hope, which was a thing we did back in December in order to raise money for children for St. Jude's. And due to the situation, he is now raising money through the Fallout for Hope for people in need because of the winter storms. So in the spirit of that, any of the shows we do today, if you subscribe on Twitch, if you donate any money, if you send any bits, any of that stuff that you guys donate to the show today will go specifically to help those in need. And, this may be something that we do more than just today, but it's starting today. So whether it's this show or one of the later shows, if you decide to contribute in any way to our podcast, then that will go towards supporting people. So our hearts go out to a lot of people. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But this week, we are talking more about Raiders. This has been almost like Raider month. We've talked about the Raider month. Yeah, we talked about Blood Eagles. We talked about what's his name? I just watched Beckett. I want to say Beckett? Decker because I just watched Blade Runner again, and that ek sound. My brain truncates words. It's like I have a compression system in my brain, like I'm a robot or something. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, Beckett.
Like you're a robot or something.
Like maybe that's why I'm called robots.
I'm a robot.
Okay, buddy bot. We're not talking about you.
Okay, I'll go away again.
Thank you. So anyway, we've been talking lots of raiders. Today we're talking about the Crater Raiders, the one of the two main factions in the Wastelanders update to Fallout 76. We won't be going into too much in the way of spoilers for the storyline. We're going to give you more of a background as to who they are, what they're about, kind of what they're like. And in some ways, the area they live in and why that is such a really cool location and pretty unique when it comes to Fallout games. So, Lainey, let's go ahead and kick this off. What are we talking about today?
Alrighty. Today you've kind of summarized it. We're talking about the Raiders. I guess we can start out from a little synopsis of what the environment is like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody knows what raiders are like, right? We've talked about raiders. They're kind of, live by their own rules, don't care about anybody else, do what they need to do, kill people on sight sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they negotiate. They're kind of the wild cards of the wasteland.
They certainly are. It's funny. They're a wild card that you can bet on. They're probably anywhere you're going to go.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so we're talking about the Crater Raiders. I don't know if there's a better way to say that. And the crater itself is interesting. This is a location in Appalachia where it is a crater that was created after the war, because the Valiant One, which was it's American space station, kind of like the International Space Station, but this one, of course, is just fictional. The idea is that it was in space, and because of the lack of maintenance, because we all know why. It crashed back down to Earth and created a crater and had debris and wreckage everywhere, kind of in a similar way that, you know how in Fallout 3, Megaton is like built out of
wreckage.
Remains of
it looks like it's just broken down parts of things. Yeah.
Right. So Crater is very similarly built. It's decorated with Raider decorations,
heads on spikes. That kind of stuff. Right.
But at its core, this is the wreckage of a space station.
Yeah.
And station.
Oh, go ahead. I've got some thoughts I want to chime in on this when you get a minute. I don't want you to go too far because I want to talk about the space station, but keep going.
Oh yeah. So that's about the station still. It's a really cool design for the space station, and it's definitely something that you have probably seen in other science fiction before, but this idea of a space station, I cannot get that out.
Space station
that it has like a central part and then like a circle around it, right? And this design is a classic sci-fi space station design. It comes from the 1950s, where I can't remember who created this initial design, but the goal was to create some kind of spacecraft that could go into orbit and spin, and the shape and then the spin together would create an artificial gravity, so you could be in it and walk around like normal, right?
Yeah, like centrifugal really cool force. Idea. The idea is that any spinning object will the force will be pulled to the ends of that. Like, so think of like a wheel, like a spinning wheel. The force is now pulled outward to the ends of the spinning wheel, so that if you were walking around the outside of the wheel, then you would be feeling a downward force because of the movement of the wheel spinning, so that you could constantly walk around the very outside. Imagine your head facing the hub, right, and your feet down facing the wheel part. So you could walk around the outside of the wheel and feel like there's gravity. Because that's one of the big questions. It's one of the things we see in sci-fi movies all the time. Like all of a sudden in Star Wars, they dock in a space station, they get out and there's gravity. Like, how does that work? Right. Nobody's ever explained how that. Well, maybe they have, but I haven't heard a good explanation for how that works in many sci-fi movies. It's just like, well, now they have artificial gravity. That's just a thing that they do. Right. And it's like, we don't know how that works. Like, we can't make that happen. Now, using real physics, you can create a spinning wheel to create a simulation of gravity. And if the wheel is big enough and it's spinning at a certain rate, then the gravity can match something like what you would feel on Earth. So that's the concept behind this, which is actually a really cool idea.
Really cool. Yeah, for sure. And clearly other people thought this was a cool idea too. Like I said, it was invented in the 1950s. The first real concept design of this kind of spacecraft was invented in the 1950s. But in 1975, NASA started actually looking into it and seeing if they would be able to create a craft like this, right? Create a space station like this. It would be really cool if you could get it to work. Then, it would, I don't know. That's pretty legendary. The idea that you could create an area in space that you go to that also has its own gravity.
Yeah. You would also constantly be walking uphill.
That's true.
I mean, because the inside of the curve of the wheel would be like you'd constantly be feeling like you were walking uphill. That would be so weird. So you could actually say, well, when I was your age, I walked uphill both ways to school.
If you lived on a space station.
If you lived on a rotating space station. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, obviously, we do not have this space station in our skies. We cannot see it because it doesn't exist. So NASA, as far as I'm aware, is no longer working on this project. It wasn't even begun. It was literally just lightly looked into.
Theoretical.
Not really.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure lots of stuff like this is. I'm sure there's plenty of ideas that NASA has that they're like, this would be super cool, and then never comes to fruition.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But this is a cool idea to include in the game, and it's interesting that they turned it into more than just, this cool wreckage from this fun thing we created. It became part of the landscape. It became part of part of a settlement, right?
Yeah.
Which is super awesome.
So this is another one of those things that we will never get to experience again, is the wreckage without the raiders in it. Unless, of course, the raiders leave, but then they're going to leave their effects on the actual wreckage and the area. So if you logged into the game in the first year before the Wastelanders update, you would come across this structure is just sticking out of the wasteland, and then pieces of it all over the place. And you could also find things like spacesuits and stuff in this location. But now, if you head to that same location, it's been reassembled and dismantled and, moved around, and is now specifically a base. So you're never going to see it exactly the way it was a year ago, which is really cool because things keep updating. But we've talked about that before.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Actually, and that's a good point. I mean, we talked about that last episode. This whole episode, and lots of our episodes connect. I feel like the entirety of this episode today is really interesting because we're going to be pulling from lots of things that we've talked about pretty recently, which is really cool. So I'm excited to get through all of this. There's lots of callbacks to things, even in recent episodes, but even there's stuff from the cryptid ones that we'll touch on a little bit. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty much it about the space station, unless you wanted to add anything else.
No, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, it was not originally a raider camp, like you said. So it makes you wonder, well, the raiders have been around for a while. Where were they before they were there? And as we know, the wasteland has gone through a few phases at this point, at the point that you as a player are in it. Mm-hmm. There was a time before the Scorched Plague even existed. And during that time, the raiders lived in camps all over the place. In fact, the camps that they used to live in are the same ones that the Blood Eagles then claimed for their own later on, because these raiders ran away because the Scorched Plague happened. And it was basically, you get out of there or you die, right? The Responders didn't make it through the Scorched Plague. The Brotherhood of Steel didn't make it through the Scorched Plague. It's rough. So the fact that these raiders were like, we need to get out of here, of course they did. So they skedaddled and decided to come on
Sneeze
back.
time. Sorry.
They decided to come back when they heard that the dwellers in Vault 76 were going to be reclaiming the wasteland. They decided that this new influx of people would make the area safer, and you're better suited to survive in numbers, I guess, other than for necessities like food. But imagine you're going against these weird culty zombies that are burning from the inside.
Culty zombies. Culty Bernie zombie things.
Culty Bernie zombie things.
That's what I need to
really
call them now.
Are.
That's what I'll call them. Yeah.
They're pretty creepy. But yeah, so imagine, like, of course.
When I stream it, I call them grumpers.
Grumpers.
Yeah, because they're so grumpy. They're like, and then they shoot at you every time. They're just on sight. They're just so grumpy. I mean, I guess if you were burning from inside, you'd be kind of grumpy too. So you can't blame them.
Yeah. I get heartburn once and I'm like, oh, I'm dying.
Yeah. It's imagine heartburn times like 100. That's what they're going through. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go crazy too, for sure. So after they moved out, the Blood Eagles moved into their camps, and then eventually they moved back in because they deemed it safe enough. But of course they couldn't move back into their camps because they have been claimed by the Blood Eagles, so they had to find a new place to go. And when I talk about raiders, I'm talking about pretty much all of the raiders in this area except for the Blood Eagles. There were 5 bands of raiders that were existing in the area before the Blood Eagles came in, that were living separately, right, in their own camps. And I'm going to, summarize them real quick.
Yeah, let's go through them because we haven't talked about these groups specifically before.
Yeah, so this is the raider episode. Let's dive on in. A few of these we have mentioned, so this is really fun. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Cutthroats. They are responsible for the Christmas flood. We talked about this in the Responders episode. When people started getting frustrated, the Responders weren't able to provide all of the aid that they said they might be able to, right? They started running out of resources, things got tight, people got angry, and they joined up with, I believe his name is David Thorpe, right? And he was
that sounds
crazy
right. Yeah. Yes.
Leader, very sociopathic sounding, where he I guess was charismatic enough that he got these people to follow underneath him, and then decided that he would lead them to basically destroy Charleston. And they destroyed the dam. Yeah. And flooded everything on Christmas. Right. And it was very terrible.
Yeah, that is the one.
The responders.
Right. That we did talk about them. Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that they're called Cutthroats, it always makes me think of pirates. Yeah. Like, I want them to be like, "Arr, we flooded your town. We broke the dam. Arr."
Arr. Little hook.
They've got little hooks. Just little hooks, not regular size hooks. Little hooks.
Not just little ones. It's like 1 finger worth of hook. So that's the first band of raiders. So obviously those are they're a ray of sunshine. And then you have the Gourmands, and I think this is my favorite one because it ties into the cryptids. And I talked about this when we talked about the Wendigo episode, where this literally is where the backstory comes from for the Wendigo within the Fallout 76 games, where there was a cannibalistic group. I did some more research, some more digging. It doesn't sound like they were all cannibals, but the Gourmands were interesting. They definitely didn't really view people like people, if that makes sense. Like, they were like, these are all individuals with their own lives. They saw them and they were like, we will use people as whatever they really needed to. They ate people. They used human flesh as currency. Some pretty weird stuff. But they were, that's the whole Wendigo thing, right? It's like there are people living greedily, right? They wanted material goods and they wanted to eat people, I guess, is the synopsis there. And their ex-leader, Morris Stevens, was particularly cannibalistic, I guess, and was a little too much for them. And they decided that they were going to exile him. And he went into exile into the Wendigo Cave, where he then becomes the first Wendigo, which is super fun and interesting, and you can run into him in the game. But that's the Gourmands. So far we have the Christmas Flood Cutthroats, we have the Wendigo Gourmand guys, and that's when we're just getting started. We have the Blackwater Bandits,
which again sounds like pirates. Arr.
It also sounds like pirates. They're really into stealth. So this group is like they function stealthily. They've reportedly stolen from the Brotherhood of Steel armory without getting caught, which is pretty crazy. So these are some talented robbers, burglars. Thieves.
Burglars. They burgle. Yeah, they're good at burgling.
So they're pretty good at that. They used to be based inside a mine, and there was this big tragedy. They actually have way less members than they used to because they were messing with equipment, and someone opened a radiation leak, and it killed and ghoulified most of their members.
Dun dun dun.
So a bunch of their people got wiped out, a bunch of their people became ghouls. That's words.
Became ghouls. That's what happens. That is the proper verb for the ghoulification.
Oh,
became a ghoul.
Fallout, take notes.
At least in West Virginia. Dave Chaffins is going to yell at me. God became a ghoul.
Oh no. So we have Cutthroats, Gourmands, Blackwater Bandits. We have the Diehards.
The Diehards. This is the group where they all look like Bruce Willis.
Basically. Yep. So this group is cool. They're a pacifist group, or at least they intended to be. They're a pacifist group. They're against killing innocents, right? They want to do their raider things. They'll kill people if they attack them first, but mostly they just want to steal things. They just want to survive. They want to get in, get out, right? No big bloodshed. I can't talk today.
No big bloodshed. Only little bloodshed. No big bloodshed.
Only a little bit. Only a reasonable amount of bloodshed, right?
Yeah. One group only has little hooks. They only have little bloodshed.
Yep. Right, so a little bloodshed, that doesn't sound too shabby, except for if you say that you're a pacifist raider group and that's your whole gimmick, people are going to walk all over you. You're not going to be a very good raider.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like saying, like, we're raiders, but we're the nice ones. Like, the other raiders are going to be like, what? No.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And people thought they were dumb, too. They would go to steal from people, and they'd just be like, what are you going to do about it? Like, No, you can't take our stuff. What are you going to do? Kill us? No?
Are you going to little wound me?
You're just going to poke me a little bit. Oh my god, yeah. So they ended up killing anyway, because this obviously didn't work out. And they didn't like it. It was very much just, do not kill unless you have to, but sometimes they could not get anything otherwise. But for the most part, killing just indiscriminately was against the rules. And so it should not happen. And this is important because the diehards will come up later. The last group that we have is the trappers. This is our fifth group, and they're pretty cool. If you've done any of the stuff in the game with Rose, you might be a little familiar with them. Mm-hmm. The trappers specialize in explosives, and they frequently use explosive bait. They would often use this against dogs, and so if you think about mutant hounds or any, like the Blood Eagles, for example, have their what are they called? I want to say scoundrels. That's not what it is.
Scoundrels. The dogs that they train?
The dogs, like the mangy dogs.
Oh, yeah. I don't, yeah. I don't know.
Why did the word
I don't know. I can't think of the name.
Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, so they would get other dogs with this, right? With the bait. You could also use them against Yao Guai or any other kinds of crazy wasteland creatures, which is cool. So they, I really like that all of these raiders really bring something new to the table. And what's super cool about that, in my opinion, is that they all went from living separately, right? They were all kind of competing with each other to now working together at the crater. They've all joined up. And what's super cool about all 5 of these groups joining up is that now you get a little bit of experience from all of them, right? You have all of these people working together. Mm-hmm. You have people who can plan crazy operations like destroying a dam. You have people who are cannibals, ? You have people who are really stealthy. You have people who are wimpy raiders.
Well, at least people who are people who let's if we flip that around, you have people who understand the value of negotiation rather than just rushing in and killing people. I think that's probably the way that you could say that. Also, you have 2/3 of them are pirates, and 2/5 of them are pirates, and 1/5 of them look like Bruce Willis. So there's that.
It's pretty crazy. That's some cool character design, Bethesda.
That's some cool
Good job.
characters.
Really, really
They're all
drawing
clones of the diehards are all clones of Bruce Willis. They all just walk around. Cool. Well, yeah, it's kind of neat that you have all these different groups coming together, and it helps explain. So cool. It kind of paints a more full picture of the characters that you meet later when playing through the quest line and the things that they're capable of and their abilities and their backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, and I think definitely, I think in the world of raiders, right? These people all used to compete with each other, and now the Blood Eagles have come in, and the Blood Eagles are a force to be reckoned with. And I think that the 5 of these bands, or what is left of them at least, coming together, and then their competition just being the Blood Eagles is like much more evenly matched. Can you imagine if you were 5 totally separate raider groups that were all like kind of struggling because the Scorch Plague happened and maybe your friends all died from a radiation leak, and then the Blood Eagles come in?
Yeah.
And now they're drugging all of you? Like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that there would be a lot of competition there between those two groups for sure. Yeah.
So these 5 groups came together, and obviously somehow they had to figure out who was going to be in charge. And I think this is really interesting, who ended up becoming the leader. But we can get to that in a minute. I see that we may want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hint that a little bit. This is a good time for our mid break. But yeah, when we get back, we're going to talk about the leadership of the group and her connection to the previous gang that she was in, and more about that. Also, we'll talk a little bit more about the Fallout for Hope stuff and some of what's going on in the game this week. All right, let's move on to the middle of the show. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now, you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home, and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
All right, this is the part of the show where we get to thank our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all of our patrons, all 53 of you now. Holy moly. That's still so sitting above $500 a month, which means we got to stay there for a few months, and then I'll be able to get my tattoo. Also, kind of want the pandemic to chill out a little bit before I sit in get a needle in my body next to a stranger, because that doesn't seem like the most, best way to avoid COVID. Anyway, but thank you to our patrons. You guys are the best, and especially thank you to our 4 tier 5 patrons who get a call out every week: Amelia R, Justin S, Matt B, and Zemnis Nightwolf. Thank you guys. You guys are especially amazing, but everybody is super cool. We're coming up on the middle of the month. We're just past the middle of the month. We're coming up on the end of the month. We will still be doing our patron chat episode on a Monday night. That's going to stay the same based on what I saw from the group that we chatted with earlier. And that means that the last Monday night of the month is the 22nd, which is coming up in just a few days. So if you want to join us, you have the opportunity now still to get in there and sign up for a tier 4 patron. And if you are a tier 4 patron already, feel free to jump into the Discord and start talking about what we might want to discuss on Monday, the 22nd. And we'll figure it out. We've got some ideas tossing around in there. But give your thoughts, share what you think would be cool to talk about. We'll determine a topic and we'll chat with you guys on this coming Monday. Otherwise, if you're interested in helping support the show and getting some cool stuff like ad-free episodes early, the extended versions of the episodes where we chat with everybody after the show, all of that stuff, check out patreon.com/FalloutLorecast for more info. All right. Thanks again to everybody. And let's move on to the rest of the show.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
So, Lainey, we left off with the leader of the group. Who is that?
Her name is Meg Groberg. What a name.
Groberg.
There's a lot of G's in that name.
Mm-hmm.
Meg Groberg. This lady is an interesting lady. I think that she is a really interesting pick for the leader of these raiders. And this is because she was a previous member of the Diehards, right? That is the pacifist group, which makes you think maybe she's who they picked because she's not hot-headed, and I don't know. Whatever the reasoning may be, is not the reasoning, because this woman was part of the Diehards, but hated them. She wanted to kill everyone, and they would not let her. And so she would do it anyway and would get in trouble all the time for just murdering people when her whole group was like, hey, don't murder people, Natural
born leader. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. You had one job, it's so funny.
Meg, you did it again. Why did you have to murder everyone? I know, guys. Sorry.
Sorry. Just a chronic murderer.
I slipped.
Chronic murdering syndrome. Oopsie daisy. Here I go killing again. Oh man. But yeah, so she's just something special. And I'm going to talk about Meg a little bit because she has a really interesting story. I'm not going to dive into all of it because if you play the game, you do get to meet her and talk to her. But she has an interesting backstory. When she was a kid, her mom took her own life because she didn't want to deal with the wasteland. She didn't want to deal with the world, the new world, the way it was. And she had this young daughter and just left her basically to fend for herself. So Meg grew up alone in the wasteland, not really knowing what to do, which is interesting. It's interesting that she ended up falling into the Diehards, and interesting that she had so much bloodlust in the Diehards. I feel like there must be more going on there, although I imagine that probably the mom thing is trauma enough.
Oh yeah. It's a good reason for being kind of upset at the world and angry and doing things without thinking fully through it, for sure. Anybody who goes through something like that, it's a tough situation.
Yeah. You're going to have a rough time, especially in the world in that state. Right.
Yeah.
This is after the war. This is the wasteland as we know it. But yeah, I don't know. I also think that she's a cool character. So I definitely think that she has her flaws.
No doubt. Sure.
I think that she's kind of cool because what she learned from her mom passing was essentially that, like, if she's going to live in this world, she wants to live it by her own rules. She wants to be in charge of her destiny. She wants to make the choices that she wants to make. She carried herself through from her childhood to adulthood, right? On her own, basically, figured out what she was doing. And now she's the leader of 5 combined raider groups. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Like, she really did the whole, like, start from the bottom, now we're here, the whole thing.
Pulled herself up from her bootstraps. Yeah. In a
pretty dark, sad way, but, like, it's cool. She's a cool character. She's very driven. And I guess if I put that into the equation, I do see why she might make a good leader. I would love to know why they chose her, though. It just makes me want, like, you have to imagine all of these groups probably had their own leaders. I don't think that she was even the leader of the diehards, right?
Yeah,
because she was going against the rules.
I can imagine that she once you meet everybody else, and there's a lot of just unknown raiders who are just walking around the compound and stuff.
Right.
But once you meet all the named characters, you get a sense that the people who are left are very unique in their own ways. They're all kind of unique and focused on the things that they're focused on. And she is I don't know the best way to explain it. She is somebody who has a sense of the bigger picture. I think that's probably the way to put it. The fact that she just doesn't kill you on sight is also interesting. Being she is obviously violent and willing to kill, but at the same time, she negotiates. She has kind of this mob boss kind of quality to her.
Yeah.
Where she says things like, all right, she calls you 7-6 in the game. She's like, all right, 7-6, tell me why I shouldn't blow your brains out right now. Like that kind of stuff. She gives you a chance to explain yourself. And she goes, all right, I don't like it, 7-6, and I don't trust you, but here's what I'm going to do. That kind of thing where she seems she seems calculated. I think that's probably the best way to put it. She's not the kind of person who some raiders just seem crazy, right? They're just like, get out of my base. I'm going to shoot you right now. Boom, 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 boom. And they don't think things through. She thinks things through. She's calculated. She looks at the bigger picture. She also, she seems to really know the other people in the group well. If that makes sense. She kind of keeps her finger on the pulse of what's going on in the group. So I can see that with those traits combined, you could be the kind of person who could use that to your advantage to rise in power. I also think that when it comes to raider groups, it's not necessarily, it's not like a democratic society. It's really whoever rises to the top is the one who is the most ruthless and the most calculating. Right. So either you're the most ruthless and it's some sort of crazy situation where you're just absolutely terrible and everybody fears you and gets underneath you, or you're calculating. You manage to pit your adversaries against each other. You manage to kind of understand the full picture and organize it in a way that it works out best for you. I think she's more of that second one.
Yeah, I have to agree. And it's just, just adding all of that to the equation is so neat. And I think it just goes to show the kinds of characters that Fallout has in it and just the kinds of stories that it's telling. They really do think about it. These are fully fleshed out characters. And it's unfortunate that we don't get more stories for all of them. I think that is part of the drawback of having so many different kinds of characters and things going on. But it's fun to speculate, right? It's fun to think about, okay, what do we know about these characters? Literally what we're doing here right now is awesome. It's cool that the game can provide the kind of entertainment and information that makes you want to do that.
Yeah. And this is, the Wastelanders update was their first foray into bringing human NPCs into the game with their own backstories and things. And they repopulated the wasteland with a lot of people. Like they brought back the Overseer, they brought back, the Crater Raiders, they brought back NPCs that could live at your camp, had their own stories, people like Beckett.
The settlers at Foundation.
The Foundation settlers. So there's, and then in pretty short order after that, brought in the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood returned. So there's a lot of story going on among all of those characters, their background and what's going on moving forward. And having talked with some of the people at Bethesda, they think through all of this stuff. They spend a lot of time. The amount of stuff that we actually get in the game is kind of the tip of the iceberg compared to the stuff that they know about the characters and what's going on underneath the surface. So I wouldn't be surprised that sometime this year we get some sort of other big update to the stories and to the characters. And who knows when that'll be. But whatever that next update is, we get a sense of more of what's going on and more of a continuation, and some of these characters get fleshed out more. The other thing that's really cool about development in the process like this is that it's not just all packed into a game and then released like something like Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 or New Vegas or whatever. This is a continuing story. And based on, and I've talked about this a little bit really early on in the show, is this idea that we all get to be co-creators in this. And this happens even more in a live service game like Fallout 76 than it does in something that's a prepackaged game. And my point here is that they get to see what things resonate with the community. They get to see what things the community is connecting to, which characters the community is drawn to, which characters they want to know more about, those kinds of things. And that can then inform the developers on what stories they should be telling next. Do we want to get more Brotherhood stories? Do we want to know more about the Crater Raiders? Do we want more background on these people? Do we want to learn more about the vaults and, whatever, or the cult of the Mothman? Like, they get to respond in near real time, at least in as real time as development gets, and being able to determine what stories we're going to get to see next based on what things seem to be popular, and not just what things seem to be popular, but what things people are creating more content around. And I can come at this from the perspective of a content creator. We just brought on 3 new Fallout shows into the Robots Radio Rocket Club, 3 new Fallout shows, and they're all about different things. They're, the Enclave, the Mistress of Mysteries, and then some people in Appalachia and more common general survival of those people in Appalachia. But my point here is that by looking at the content that people are making, you also get a sense of like what people are interested in learning more about. Where do they want to get more information? What things would be cool? And then potentially the community can even influence the developers with concepts for stories or story arcs and those kinds of things, because the developers listen and they look, they enjoy the content too. They're watching the things that we're making. And in some ways, those things are going to affect them on what they're going to be delivering or how they're going to be delivering, or maybe even incorporating the types of characters and stories from our stories into the game. I mean, that could potentially happen. So there's a lot going on there. And I think that we're again, just seeing the very tip of the iceberg when it comes to a lot of the stuff that we will eventually know about the world of Fallout 76 and Appalachia. It's kind of a very long roundabout way of saying that, but I think you guys get the idea.
I think it was great. Yeah. I think that it would be really cool in the future, and I'm sure that they will, for whenever, the next big update comes or whatever, to have these characters. And I'm thinking, still thinking about Meg, for example, like if we had, I don't know, just quests in the future where like, right, the more that you have these characters, and obviously because time is progressing, you can have things happen in their interpersonal relationships that you see in the future, right? It's possible that Meg and the leader of the settlers or whatever, maybe they don't actually interact that much, but maybe in the next update or something, we'll have some crazy quests where you have to deal with something between them, and like you get to see these relationships between characters grow over time. That's so cool. Mm-hmm. And I would love to like just get to dive into all of this. I think it's so interesting to have all these characters that have very emotionally charged backgrounds and stories all together like this. It's something that you don't really see that often from, I don't know. I feel like Fallout has a lot of other stuff it also focuses on. Most games that include characters like that, usually like that is the focus, right? They're telling the story of the character. But Fallout has so many characters with so many different crazy backgrounds, some really interesting, some really tragic, so on and so forth. And getting to see them grow in kind of real time, is really cool. And I like the idea of seeing where that goes in the future a lot.
Yeah. Well said. So I guess we'll have to just see where that goes in the future. Oh, thanks for putting all the notes together again, Lainey. This has been very cool. Let's move on to the rest of the stuff we were going to talk about on this episode. First and foremost, I mentioned this before, people across the country are having issues. So any money donated, any subscriptions, any bits, anything like that happens during any of my shows today will be going to support people in need. And that includes some of the developers. There is a Bethesda studio down in Texas, and a number of the people at that studio have been affected and are dealing with power outages and leaked pipes and lack of water, all sorts of terrible things. And they put out a statement recently saying, hey, everybody, this is a very serious thing. And this is going to delay the next update coming out for Fallout 76. So please be patient with us. So please be patient with them. This is a life or death kind of thing for some of these people. And even if it isn't a life or death issue, it is a absolutely get in the way of living your life kind of issue. So please send your well wishes, your warm thoughts, whatever you can do. And if you can financially donate, please do so. There are organizations out there that are helping people. If you look up the Chad Fallout 76 podcasts on Twitter, they are putting together a, I guess they have a system for raising money on this stuff. I haven't looked into the details yet, but every $500 goes to helping some set of people be able to have warmth and shelter and the things that they might need during these storms. So check that stuff out. If anybody has any links, I'm looking it up right now, but if anybody has any specific links to share, go ahead and share those in chat. Bethesda could reconsider locating to Bethesda, Maryland, its ancestral home. Yeah, they have studios in all sorts of different locations now. There are so many different groups of people working in different places. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. Our thoughts are with the team down there and what they're doing, and hopefully they will all be safe and get through this. Also, in more fun news, this week is Fastnacht. Which, have you played Fastnacht?
No.
It's a crazy looking word. It looks like Fastnacht. It's German, I believe. Lainey, you got to play Fastnacht. Okay, so
what is it?
So Fastnacht is an event that happens in Fallout 76 this time of year. They also did it during Halloween this last year, and it is the event where everybody goes and lines up. And you get all the robots ready. You set up a parade, and then the robots have a parade, and then you defend the robots from the parade. And then the robots make it all the way around town. They get back to where they started, and then some sort of big legendary creature spawns. You kill it, and then you burn the effigy of Father Winter or whatever it is. And then everybody gets stuff, including really cool masks. Yeah, Fastnacht. I think it's the way it's pronounced. So if you there are so many cool masks. There are common ones. There are ones from previous years. There's rare ones. They look ridiculous. They're absolutely hilarious for you to run around in the world wearing these big funny masks. And it happens at the top of every hour. So, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. So you can do it every hour on the hour. So if it's the kind of thing that you could even just log in, like keep your character there, log in, do the event, kill stuff, get the XP, get the new items, get the whatever, and then log off, and then do it again and log off. You can do it as much as you want. So, and in previous years when I've done this, people have been very, very friendly. I mean, there are some people who go AFK and they just kind of let everyone else kill everything, which is kind of a bummer. But the people who do participate often will share the items they've already gotten before. So they're like, oh, I've already got this crazy giant head mask. Does anybody want it? And they put it on the ground and you just go, ooh, okay, thank you. So it's one of those fun events where everybody can get together and do all sorts of cool things. So
cool.
Yeah. So super fun time to jump into Fallout 76, even if you just want to jump back in just for the event. And it happens all the time. I don't know when it ends. Why is my nose so itchy? I need to stop snorting crack. Somebody's gonna take me serious and be like, that's a really bad thing. You shouldn't do that. Fastnacht Fallout 76. Let me look it up real quick. It will be going till February 22nd. So 4 more days as of the recording of this, and you guys can pick up a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Plus you get like legendary weapons and all the fun normal things. So it's good times. It's good times. Beware, there are some of those creepy frogs. You got to get eggs from the creepy frogs. They're super gross. I find them, they're like one of the most gross things in the game to me. Super mutants, meh.
They're going to jump on your head.
Yeah, the frogs, they jump on my head. People don't know that story. Lainey, they don't know about the frogs. Okay, so I now I have to tell it. Okay, this is gonna be us wrapping up the episode. So the frogs jumping on my head story is, why is my nose so itchy? Is based on an apartment that we lived in, oh my God, that was like 11 years ago now. We lived in an apartment, and in the front of the apartment, there's like the outside facing door. And at that door, there was a light right above the door. Right. And at night, when I would get home at night, there was always a frog that would like live up in the corners of like, right above the door, because it like to eat the bugs that were attracted to the light. Right. It's pretty smart frog. Well, the frog would always get scared as I walked up to the door, and I would never remember to look for the frog. And then he would jump, and it always felt like he was jumping at my head because he was above me, and he would just kind of boing. You know how frogs will just like, they just like spaz and they just kind of boing. Yeah, it just always jumped at my head. And so that became the thing. So every time we get home, I was like, eventually when I got used to it, I was like, please don't jump on my head. Don't jump on my head. Frogs always jumped at me, and it was always my head. It was never other people who were with us. It was me. They wanted to get on my head. You don't want frogs on your head. That's gross. So
that's gross.
And who wants a frog on their head?
What if you stuck?
Yeah, they're sticky and wet looking. Yeah, frogs are weird. Frogs are weird. All right.
I like frogs.
Well, some frogs are cute, but the ones that jump on your head, no good. No good.
Have you seen? Oh, it's not even. It doesn't stand out that much. There's a video of this kid where the frog jumps on him, or like he's like trying to like play with it, and it jumps on him, and he starts like crying, and then the mom goes up to like try and help him, and as soon as the mom like goes close to the frog, it jumps on the kid's face. It's tragic, but it's very funny.
I have not seen this. Poor kid. Kid, I can level with you. I know what you're feeling.
They really are jumping on heads, though. It's pretty funny.
Yep. So,
yeah.
Well, that does it for this episode. We will be back on the 22nd for our patron episode. So join us then. That'll be back to the normal time for Monday. But then other than next week, we will be back to our new time, Thursdays, 2 p.m. at twitch.tv/robotsradio. Lainey, thank you for joining me again.
Father, thank you for joining me again.
Daughter. Should I just call you daughter?
Like I'm doing it. We're gonna switch roles for an episode, and I'm gonna be like, robots, how are you today?
Yeah, there you go. You can host it, and then I'll be the expert. I'll be the topic expert. There's like that's typically the roles on a show. You have the person who drives it, and then you have the topic expert person, and both people will generally know what they're talking about. But like,
oh sure,
that's what creates the balance of the content. Also, saying daughter makes me think of the song by Pearl Jam, and then I want to do my Eddie Vedder impression, but I'm going to save that for the extra stuff after the show. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. This has devolved into craziness like it sometimes does. Yeah. Yeah, don't get any frogs on your head, and be nice to people that don't kill them, because maybe that'll make you the leader of the Raiders. I don't know how that works. All right. That's not exactly what happened at all. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Also, look up the Robots Radio YouTube for videos about Fallout and other things. And check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/robotsradio.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
All right, chat. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. It's good to have everybody here. Hope you're able to join us regularly at this time after next week. That would be cool. Yeah. What did I say I was going to? I just started thinking about other things. What was I going to say for the after show?
Your impression.
Oh yeah, don't call me daughter. I fear to. Yeah, that's
can you do like Nixon from Futurama, where he like, he like
he does that thing, yeah, where he shakes his. That's also you also do that. You got to shake your cheeks a little bit when you do Murlocs from World of Warcraft. You go.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
It's funny, honestly. Actually, from you doing that, every time that I play Hearthstone and a Murloc comes up, I literally am like, haha, my dad.
My dad makes Murloc sounds. It also does Eddie Vedder. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's the part from Gerald me spoken last day. That's part of the song. That's what he does. You hear Jar Jar? Oh yeah, Jar Jar does kind of do that too, doesn't he? Let's not talk about Jar Jar.
Thanks.
Murlocs are much more entertaining than Jar Jar.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Chat, what are you guys up to the rest of the day? Lainey, what are you doing? You doing any streams today? I know you've got like beginning of the week, end of the week schedule thing going on.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm doing Minecraft. And
Minecraft?
Thursday, nope, not Thursday. Today's Thursday. Saturday I'm doing Hearthstone.
Does anyone else, when they hear Minecraft, think Mein Kampf?
What?
Like Hitler's book? Mein Kampf. Minecraft.
Oh, I didn't know that book existed until like a month ago.
What? What school did you go to? What the heck? I know what school you went to, but how did you not learn that?
I have no idea. Although now that I really think about it, we did not talk about Hitler like any year of my schooling ever.
He's such an important part of 20th century history. They're
like, Nazis, what are those? Just went right through it. Maybe I was just listening. I just forgot that we ever.
Yeah. Hey, Neko Mata. You missed the show, but we're doing this now on Thursdays at 2. Next week we'll be back to Monday because we have our patrons, but the regular time for the show will now be Thursdays at 2 p.m. on this channel right here. I was going to say on Thursdays, but that was redundant. So I had to come up with something that made it sound not redundant, but then it just sounded obvious.
Wait, where's BuddyBot? Bring me the BuddyBot. I have a gift.
Yes.
Would you like a pizza?
Yeah. You have pizza? I want pizza. Thanks for the pizza.
BuddyBot's so happy now.
Thanks.
How did you get pizza?
I got pizza earlier.
Where did you get pizza from?
That was my leftover pizza from Marco's Pizza. We have it's called a white cheesy pizza. It has
cheese.
Yeah, the name is misleading.
And it has white
cheese and
white?
ham and tomatoes. Does it have white? Well, I'm white, and so when I eat it, it is not part of me, and so
that doesn't make any sense.
Cheesy pizza.
It's a wait. Can you eat it if you're? I'm not white. Can I eat it? You just fed it to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, you eat it, and then immediately you're gentrified.
Oh no.
Yeah, this sounds like a terrible way to market your pizza. To just like one. That's horrible. Marco's Pizza. We do not mean to imply that you're racist in any way. Please do not sue the show.
We'll say nice things about you.
Oh my god.
You become what you eat. You are what you eat.
It turns you into a white person.
It turns you into a white person.
Now we're talking some Cthulhu, whatever that Cthulhu show was. Have you seen that?
The Cthulhu show?
What was it? What's it called? It came out a few months ago with
Cthulhu show.
You know what I'm talking about? The Lovecraft Country.
I don't know nothing about it, but that's
or county. Is it county or country? Yeah, crazy show. Crazy show. Cthulhu-esque types of.
I played lots of creepy
Cthulhu
stuff. Games.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any.
But there's magic in it where people can change what color they are, and they actually take on like other people's bodies, and then they like break out of them, and all the flesh goes gross. Yeah, it's country. I think it's country. Yeah. Anyway, really, really interesting show. Super weird. Some plot holes, but
it happens.
I mean, what show doesn't have plot holes? Yeah. But overall, very, very cool. Also, really interesting look on Black America in the 1950s and the things that they went through from their perspective in a very for all the fantasy stuff that's in it, like monsters and magic and all that kind of stuff. That part of it, very grounded in reality. And that's awesome. Really disturbing if you are somebody who doesn't really plug into that culture and the things and the difficulties of having to live in America in the 1950s as a Black person. Very enlightening, and makes you understand more about people who might be different from you, which is always a good thing to do.
Did you watch The Umbrella Academy?
No, haven't.
It's good. It's not incredible, I guess, but it's good. I enjoyed it. I think my uncle recommended it to me when it first came out because he was like, Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance made a graphic novel and now it's a TV show, and I was like, oh well, I have to watch it because my sweet man Gerard Way wrote it.
You mean it's not about Resident Evil? The Umbrella wasn't the Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil. Lainey disappeared again. She's coming back.
I'm back. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I didn't watch it though, and CJ.
So I didn't watch it, and I have nothing else to say about it.
And was like, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "No, but I've wanted to." So I finally have watched it. I'm so bad about watching TV shows, but I finally watched it, and I don't think we're done with the second season, but it was good. I bring it up because it's also about like basically like kids with superpowers, and they grow up, and their dad was terrible, and their mom was a robot, and like some other stuff. And
and their mom was a robot.
And their mom was a robot. Their dad was terrible, and their mom was a robot.
Whoa, what do you mean I can have kids?
Then there's some like each, and well, they're not actually their parents. There's a lot of things happening. I'll give you the premise of the first episode. First episode, a bunch of women all over the country all give birth at the same time. None of them were pregnant beforehand. It's just all of a sudden a baby pops out.
That's no good.
Unpleasant. But all these babies have superpowers, basically. And this man, he's like eccentric but broody, I guess, is his whole thing. And he's old, but he's a scientist or whatever he does. And he goes and he adopts like 7 of the kids, or 7 of them, and some number, and then like basically just raises them to be superheroes pretty much, and is not like emotionally attached to them at all, so very problematic. And then he dies when they are older and they've all like moved on, they're living their own lives, and they all come back together because he dies and they're trying to figure stuff out. And then of course it goes on from there, and then it's like the end of the world, and then there's time travel, and then it's all crazy stuff. But at one point they go to the 1950s, I think. It's the 50s. And it also, there's one of the characters, one of the children, is a black woman, right? So most of them, I'm pretty sure most of the children are all white. No, that's not even true. Actually, it's a pretty diverse cast. But there's a black woman, and her story is that she can like basically like tell you to do something and you will do it, or like forget it or whatever, right? Like she can command you by talking to you.
Right.
And she becomes part of like this like movement, basically, right, against segregation and stuff, which is super interesting. But she doesn't want to use her power. It's like a whole thing where she's like, should you use your power to do things for good, or is that still overstepping the boundary? Or like, it's interesting. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll check it out.
That was a long roundabout way to be like,
maybe it's kind of cool. Yeah. Nekamata thinks it's the 60s.
It's the 60s. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was the 60s, actually, because it's, there's a part where one of them, his name's Klaus. He's like everyone's favorite character in the show, and he can talk to dead people, right? And one of their siblings is dead, and so like they're always together because he's the one that can talk to him. And Klaus like accidentally starts a cult basically in the 60s.
Oops.
And he like uses quotes from early 2000s like pop songs and stuff to like as his like scripture. And so for example, last episode when I was like, don't go chasing waterfalls, whatever, it was on my mind because one of the things that he says, he's like, don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
You're just using quotes from popular songs.
Yeah, it's so funny, but he starts the whole cult.
Don't call me daughter. Not fit to. All right. Well, that was a good callback to my Eddie Vedder. All right, I gotta get going. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I will be back later at 9 p.m. for the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, and then 10:30 for the Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast. It is a Robots Radio kind of day. And Lainey, thank you for joining me again. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, I will. And chat, thank you for being here. It's good to see everybody. I haven't been able to stream as much lately, but it's good to see everyone. Thank you for stopping in, and hopefully I'll see you again later today. Awesome. Have a good, wonderful day. I'm talking like you. You've infected my brain. All right. Bye, everybody. See ya.